Hey there, cultivator. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I want to help you determine and assess whether a company is the right fit for you. So I have a lot of job seekers who come to me and they really want to find their next long-term home. Maybe they came from a toxic work environment, or they realized they didn't have a supportive boss and they just wish that they vetted their next opportunity better. So while we don't 100% know until we actually step into the workplace, there are a couple of different things that you can be thinking about as well as researching to align yourself in the best way possible. Before we dig in, just a quick reminder, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, be sure to subscribe because we release new videos on job search hacks, mindset tips, and career advice every single Thursday. Now, without further ado, let's dig in. First and foremost, let's talk about Glassdoor, because I know Glassdoor is kind of known as that one resource that you can go to read up on reviews from employees on their experiences, whether or not they approve or disapprove of the CEO, what their experience has been like based on their various titles. So a lot of the times I get questions around, is Glassdoor reliable? So when it comes to Glassdoor, I'm going to say it's just like any other review site out there, such as Yelp. You know, you can go onto your favorite Italian restaurant, you know it's like gourmet, it's the best, and yet there's a 1-star review that is basically just saying, don't ever come here, don't ever eat here, save your money, run the other way. Glassdoor is very much similar in that it is an individual person's experience, and so you sometimes have to take that with a grain of salt. I also like to remind people that very few people who are super happy or content or satisfied are actually going to take out time from their day to write a positive review. It's generally people who are really disgruntled, had a really negative experience, and are trying to warn people of it. But sometimes that could be just a very specific time or specific situation or specific encounter that happened to one person. So when looking at Glassdoor, you know, I think it's a really great resource and tool that is out there. It's available to us. It doesn't hurt to kind of take a look and see, are there any patterns emerging? Is it just one person's review, or is there a pattern here of all of these employees who are sharing the same thing? On the flip side of that, there are actually a lot of companies that also encourage their employees and sometimes even incentivize them to write a positive review. So, you know, again, take what you can from that resource and that material. Try to weave in the patterns yourself to determine whether or not this is reliable data. The other thing to consider is oftentimes you can see whether or not it's related to your department. So for instance, maybe you're seeing there's really negative reviews, but they're all coming from the customer service department, yet the marketing department or marketing professionals who are leaving reviews seem to be pretty content with their leadership and their structure and the perks that they're getting. So just kind of think about who you're reading the review from and then really analyzing it for any type of pattern that you can identify before jumping to any conclusions. Now, what I will say that is a really cool hack to decipher whether or not a company's culture, a company is really preaching what it is that they're stating or branding themselves as, is taking a look on LinkedIn content. This is a really neat hack, and I'm going to walk you through the computer so you can kind of see what I'm talking about and how easy it is to dig up some information about an organization in real time. All right, let me go ahead and drive you inside of LinkedIn just to see how you can start leveraging LinkedIn content to get information real time about an organization. So let's just take a moment and pretend that we are interested in working at Salesforce. You'll type in Salesforce, and instead of going to the default, you'll want to click on content. And this is really sharing with me, you know, most recently, any post or status updates from other LinkedIn users that have had the word Salesforce in it. So you are going to do a little bit of digging as you go through. So as you can see, as you scroll through, you're going to have to read a couple of different postings. But, you know, here's an example of somebody who just joined as a technical architect at Salesforce. So he's sharing day one at Salesforce. At this moment, I'd love to thank all of my mentors, supervisors, teammates, recruiters who helped me on this journey. Thank you for making the recruitment and onboarding process smooth amidst the current pandemic situation. I'm very excited.
P.S. The Salesport pot was a surprise gift from my wife. Oh, that's really sweet. But, here's somebody who just recently got hired during this pandemic, and he's saying that it was such a smooth onboarding process. So that's generally some positive praise for Salesforce, right? From an actual person. And you can really just read through and just, again, see, are people acknowledging Salesforce? What are their current employees stating? Are you seeing that people are getting promotions? Are you seeing that clients are praising them? Are they really walking the walk or talking the talk? Do people at the company share that they're volunteering or what they're doing that day? You can again gather as much information as possible from real people in real time who are demonstrating and showcasing what it's like to work at Salesforce or what their opinions are about it. Here's a really cool one as an example. Here's what I did at Salesforce this summer as an intern, and you can kind of read about their own situation and their perspectives that shaped their experiences there. So here's an example of one that came up 2 years ago. I walked into the Chicago Salesforce office eager and excited to work for one of the most innovative companies in the world. Days turned into dials, months turned into ACV. Salesforce continued to challenge me every day. To the people at Salesforce, thank you. You are the reason I looked forward to taking this dreaded Iron Horse train every day. You made the long days turn into where did the time go? It is you I owe a majority of my accomplishments to because you all taught me so much. So here's like a generally positive post about Salesforce and the team and so forth.
I hope you enjoyed that little hack on just seeing how people are speaking about a company in real time. Obviously, this won't work for smaller organizations if they don't have a ton of vocal employees, but it's a really neat way to just kind of see who is really praising and acknowledging their organizations and what it is that they're doing. The other thing you can do is absolutely look up press releases, Google the company name, and just start reading through and pouring through what's coming up in search results. The other thing that you can do is crowdsource through social media. So maybe you're asking on Facebook groups, maybe there's forums out there already, or you're just really following the behind the scenes of a company. I know, for instance, eBay has like a Life at eBay career account on Instagram where they show behind the scenes what's happening in the organization, what employees are working on, what their projects are, and so forth. So that's a cool way to kind of expand beyond just the Glassdoor reviews and see what comes up for you. But really, what I would encourage every job seeker to do is interview the company as much as they're interviewing you during this interview process. What I mean by this is in interviews, you're often asked behavioral questions about a time where in the past you have done something to illustrate a principle or a value. And so you could do the same exact thing. If you are in an interview and community is very important to you, you might ask your interviewer, tell me about a time the company has given back to the community, or can you tell me about a most recent project that you worked on that really impacted a community in a positive way. As much as, again, the company is interviewing you, you have every right to ask questions that are going to be, again, based on a past experience that is going to shape what the company is currently doing or is doing in the future. It's really important that you understand what your values are and you have the questions that align yourself to those values so that you can vet them in this process. And then, of course, nothing beats informational interviews and actually talking to past and current employees as you're learning more about your career exploration, the types of companies that you want to work for. You can absolutely share what is important to you and absolutely start getting feedback and recommendations or insights on what are those companies that really practice this, or have you considered working for this company because that was like my favorite place that really embodies the spirit that you're talking about. At the end of the day, the whole interview process is a really great vetting process for you to determine whether or not this is a long-term fit. You can tell a lot by how the company is communicating with you, how they're treating you through the interview process. Are they going through all of these cumbersome blocks and obstacles that might speak to what it's like to actually work in there? Or if, the recruiter and the hiring manager keep dropping the ball or they're not as communicative as you would like. Those are all indicators and signs of whether or not this is a organization or a team that you want to join. I hope you you found those tips helpful. Let me know in the comment box down below what your favorite values are in a company, or what your favorite organization's culture was like and how you were able to find them or vet them. It'd be really cool to brainstorm all of that out with you guys and just get this list going down below in the comments. And in the description box down below, by the way, if you're looking for the interview questions that are appropriate to ask each interviewer, whether it's a recruiter, an HR person, or a colleague and hiring manager, be sure to sign up for the free resource library. And of course, if you have not yet subscribed yet, be sure to do that because we're releasing this video next week. And until then, I hope you continue to cultivate your life and your career.